First of all, congratulations on making the playoff this year. I'm sure it has been a tough year for the Cougars, coming off a very successful year last year with such a strong performance. This year seems to have been a little bit more challenging for you. We covered your second game of the year against Peachtree Ridge. In that game, you lost a very talented running back, Chris Robinson. What kind of effect did that have on your team and offense in the beginning of the season?
Well, it did affect us. Put a lot more pressure on our quarterback. We were inexperienced out there at the receiver spots, and I think Lindell tried to press a little and do a lot. And of course, Chris was, I thought probably at the time, was on his way to having an all-state type year. He'd really torn it up against the Grange and had 100 yards against a good Peachtree Ridge defense in the first half. And of course, second half, he high ankle sprain, and it took a long time to get over that. And so, yeah, it did affect us. Chris is a talent, and we had to have some other guys step up. But what it did, I think it gave us some confidence in some other guys, Lamont Anderson, Bryant Ball. Some of those guys stepped up, and again, Lindell had to do a little bit more. But again, we found out some things that he can do to help us win. Maybe we wouldn't have done if Chris would have been in there.
That's awesome. Since getting Robinson back, you've only lost one game to a very talented Stevenson in a very close game. Defensively, you had to replace a lot of talent from last year and struggled early on this year. Towards the end of the season, your defense has seemed to mature a little bit. With the exception of the ML King game, which was a shootout that you won, how do you think your defense has progressed?
Well, that's the big, I think more than the injuries and all that, our defense was just so inexperienced at the beginning of the year that it took them time to mature. And to me, the way we played defense the last 3 or 4 weeks has really turned around our season. Just played well, and our coaches have worked hard to get us playing back the way we're used to playing. So, we felt like probably outplayed Stevenson, that night, and King was, King's an explosive football team.
Yes,
they got their quarterback and 3 or 4 receivers. You can just go, and whoever tangos with those guys in the playoffs is going to have a hard time. So that was an exciting win for us. But we played well on defense, and we're getting better, and guys have stepped up, and that's just been, to me, that's been the biggest difference between the start of the year and the end of the year. Maybe more than getting Chris back, some of those guys back on offense, just the way our defense has stepped up and matured.
Is there any outstanding players on the defensive side that you'd like to recognize?
Well, I think you start with Albury Melson, senior linebackers, played a lot of football for us. Our secondary is really young. And they've really grown up, and that's helped. But up front, we're pretty good. And J.R. Cameron, senior defensive end, and O.D. Pittman, senior nose guard, and junior end Andre Morgan. Those guys have really kind of led us and done a good job there. And again, we've gotten better. Trevor Tanner, another senior that played outside for us last year, moved inside. And Trevor's leading us in tackles, and he seems to make a lot of plays, very active. Those guys have really played well for us.
Excellent. How's the excitement in the school? Are the students really excited about making the playoffs this year?
Yeah, we've got a great student body. They get into it, and football's big in Newnan. Our students they pick a theme every week, and dress up in that theme, and so they really get into it, and it's fun and it's neat. But yeah, it's maybe not as exciting as it's been because it's getting a little old hat, and the last 2 years we've been undefeated going into the playoffs. So, but there is a lot of excitement.
Excellent. Your first round opponent is South Cobb out of 4-5A. Offensively, both teams seem to be similar, with having two talented quarterbacks that can throw and talented running backs. Have you been able to see them on film, and how do they look?
Well, we went and actually got to go scout them. You know, they played a Saturday game versus Pebblebrook, and they win that there too. And if they lose it, I think they could even have been out of it. But they've got an excellent team. I was, you know, really impressed with them. They've got some big kids up front on both sides of the ball, and as you said, their quarterback and their running back, you know, really make them go. The running back's a great talent, and the quarterback makes a lot of things happen. He can keep a play alive, and got some good receivers as well. And defensively, we've been really impressed with their linebackers. They've got a couple over there that can really play. They've got a good football team. They really, really do. A lot of talent.
You know, you mentioned the linebackers that they have. You know, defensively, they have one of the stronger teams in their region. They run to the ball really well. In that area, they're really pretty similar to you. On paper, this looks like two very similar teams that could indicate a very close game. Are there any particular other keys to the game that are especially important to you?
Well, you know, I think in a playoff game, you got to take care of the ball. You know, turnovers are going to play a part, and kicking games always going to play a part. You know, in a playoff game, especially in a tight game. So those are two areas, you know, we want to do well in.
They get the benefit of playing at home. How do you feel about that?
Well, you know, you always want to play you playoff games at home. There's no doubt, but you know, with King upsetting Stevenson, that, you know, put us at third, and you just deal with it and go on, and we'll go up there. It's not a bad trip up there, and it looks like they've got a nice stadium and nice field, and you know, it looks like a good place to play football at. So I think our kids are just excited to be able to play another week. You know.
Excellent. Well, Coach McDonald, once again, thank you for your time. You're doing a great job here at Newnan, which, by the way, our staff has voted as having the best chili dogs around in the area that we've seen so far. So once again, thank you so much for your time, and good luck.
Thank you.